Welcome to the ESCAPECAST. It is the 1st of November 2017, and we're about 111 days until I get the hell out of the United States and begin a much better life abroad. And that's what this little podcast, if you will, is talking about. Getting away from the rat race, getting away from systems that keep us entrapped, that keep us unhappy, that keep us working endlessly on endless spirals of trying to achieve things that are always just out of reach. And there's no better example of this that I can think of than Hollywood. And that's what I'm going to be talking about a little bit today. Since moving to Los Angeles about 4 years ago, I've been inundated with the Hollywood culture because, I live about a mile away from Hollywood. And also, I work sometimes directly in Hollywood, like right on Hollywood and Vine. It's where we meet up. I know a lot of people in that industry. I know a lot of would-be actors and actresses. And myself, I used to kind of be in that field also. I went to film school, used to have a video company, used to work in fields like editing, videography, etc. And I do find that whole world, that whole industry to be a lot of fun because I love films, I love making movies, I love the imagination that goes with it. And I totally understand why people get into that field and why people are so passionate about it. Well, this week we have Kevin Spacey being charged with allegedly molesting, or yeah, I would say molesting a 14-year-old boy. We have Andy Dick. I guess no surprise there. Everybody kind of expected that, he was a little bit crazy. Brett Ratner, who apparently thinks it's a good idea to wank off in front of women, which I thought was something only chimpanzees did, but I was wrong. And what we're seeing is the slow unraveling of the whole Hollywood system, and it's finally happening. And I don't know what the future is going to hold for Hollywood, but I do hope that young people especially start waking up and they stop moving out in droves looking for their success in the same place that people have been going to for decades now, trying to, quote, make it, with this illusion that it's even possible, and getting caught up in these power games where you have the Harvey Weinsteins of the world who basically make you into their bitch, kind of like prison. And people willingly go into this field, and it just, it amazes me. Like, what do they think is going to happen? You have a bottleneck of power happening. You have these producers who are inundated by young, talented, attractive people who want to make it in acting, and they're all talented. And so you get a hundred actresses who all have matching talent. All of them, could totally play the part, and then they create a system where, well, there's 100 people here. I could pick any one of you girls, so I'm just going to weed it down. Whoever wants to give me a blowjob is going to get the part. And this is a system that has been happening in Hollywood probably since the golden days and before the golden days. We're looking at probably since the 1900s. And it naturally occurs when you have money-hungry, power-obsessed producers who become the arbiters of fame and success for young, ambitious actors. And anybody who doesn't see that is fooling themselves. Everybody who works in the industry knows that this is the way the game is played. So, ultimately, Hollywood is the biggest and best example of the, quote, rat race. It's everybody competing over fame and success at the expense of everything else, including not only their happiness, but their safety, risking things like rape and sexual trauma, just for the goal of, maybe getting that part that will maybe potentially lead to a career in acting, which will maybe potentially lead to fame. It's such a dangerous arena because there is no value system in this place. Even some goddamn monstrous company like Monsanto at least has idyllic scientists who think that their technology will someday feed the planet. Even financial firms may care about things like small business development in the economy or the community. The entertainment business is all about individual power and money. Sure, some of them are philanthropists, but at the end of the day, this is one of the most power-hungry places in the country, which I think is kind of ironic because Hollywood is typically considered a more of a leftist type of place. and the left oftentimes paint themselves with the veneer of moral superiority, which we can see in Hollywood. They're just as susceptible to greed and power as anybody else. So this creates an environment that's very toxic and suffocating for decent people. Since moving near Hollywood and working with a lot of these people, what I basically see are young people being eaten alive all the time, and I know at least a dozen of them. The thing is, if you're absolutely committed to fame and success, which I think is a philosophical dead end, but let's go ahead and go there anyway, there are better ways to do it, where you don't have to become somebody's bitch. One example is YouTube and self-promotion. If you were to put all the work that you put into going to auditions and then failing those auditions into making a great YouTube channel and basically putting your name and face out there, then you probably have a statistically much higher chance of, quote, making it. Now, it doesn't mean you have a very good chance. I mean, it takes a special alchemy of factors to make somebody popular on the internet. But there's a lot of artists like Lindsey Sterling, the great pop violin player, who basically stuck a video on Reddit, and then suddenly, she was getting tens of thousands of views, and that spiraled her career out into mega stardom. And she now has an unfathomably high net worth, her own company, and she's not anyone's bitch in the entertainment business. And obviously, this is a much better path to follow, because even if you became famous, if you became the next Selena Gomez, at what cost? How is this something that will provide any kind of meaning or happiness in your life? Even if you're sitting on top of millions of bucks, but your soul is signed away to some record label or some film studio. So if you want to actually become famous and, quote, make it and show your talent off to the world and make millions of bucks, yeah, the odds are still stacked against you, but you can do it from your home in Wisconsin. You can do it from anywhere. Or you can travel the world and, go to a major hub of commerce and film and entertainment, like even somewhere like Bangkok. I know people who moved to places like Bangkok and Shanghai and other major cities in the eastern part of the world who ended up having successful careers in acting because of a high demand for like white actors. Or I suppose not just white actors, but Western actors, including African Americans, you name it. But the point is that it's a much better plan to go where you're needed, where there's a demand for you, or to do it all independently. Going to Hollywood is going to the bottleneck. It is a place where you have probably hundreds of thousands of people from around the world, all trying to make it, trying out for the same thing. It's why these like casting call auditions and the types of like some of these open casting calls, like you'll see them out here in Hollywood, and there'll be people like lined up as if people are trying to get into some concert, and everybody has like a little white piece of paper in their hands, some monologue they've memorized. And the reason is that, as I said, so many hundreds of thousands of people coming out, trying their hand in the arena. I've met people from around the world. I've met people from Poland. I've met people from Ukraine. I've met people from China. A lot of times, these are young, ambitious actresses in particular. They all think that Hollywood is going to be their ticket. Now we're seeing with the great sexual harassment, sexual abuse scandals of 2017, as people from around the world are now suddenly being disenchanted by Hollywood. And they'll finally realize that this is not the place to go to pursue those ambitions. And I think it's a very good thing. So like so many other subjects that I'll be talking about on this show, Hollywood is just another waste of life. So just a little bit of a summary here. You can still make it in the entertainment business without having to go sell your soul in Hollywood, without having to go be the bitch of somebody like Weinstein. And what we're seeing right now is these old systems beginning to fall apart, and there's going to be more and more people bailing out of the Hollywood scene. And when that happens, there's always new opportunities, new places that you can go, and new ways that you can stay independent without having to be anyone's bitch, because who wants to give up their freedom? And that's the main thing I care about, is people keeping their freedom. For me personally, that's the most important thing. And for most people I meet, what they really want is just to have the freedom to make up their own life and decide on the things they want to do without being forced, without being controlled, without being manipulated by all the sociopaths and narcissists in this world. If you like what I have to say, then please hit like, please hit subscribe. Right now there's nobody watching this thing, but I'm putting it out there because it's what I want to talk about. It's what I want to be heard. And if you like it, then it's up to you to keep it going. This is Cyrus Kirkpatrick. You can always swing by my Instagram, Cyrus_the_explorer. Check out all my cool photos from places I've been to all over the world, as well as my website for more social critiques and commentaries, cyruskirkpatrick.com. You can check out my books on Amazon, How to Quit Your Job, How to Escape the Rat Race, How to Make Money While Traveling, and lots more. Until next time, we'll probably talk real soon. This is Cyrus Kirkpatrick. See you then.